Well, we are less than 1 week away from the release of Disney Lorcana's next set, Into the Inklands, and there are definitely some cards that are picking up traction on Pixelborn, Discord, and YouTube. One of those being the overrated and overhyped 7-cost Bloodborne Jafar Striking Illusionist. This 4/5 shift character with evasive has a solid stat line, adding yet another great card to the Amethyst library, but it's his special ability, Power Beyond All Measure, that really matters here. He grants the ability to, while exerted, gain 1 lore every time you draw a card, which is actually crazy. But that's not the main reason this card is being so overhyped. It's the possible devastating combo using Steel's powerful song card, A Whole New World, which along with drawing 7 new cards comes 7 lore thanks to Jafar's ability. This can have wild effects on the outcome of the game, and that's just the beginning. Using the cards in Amethyst Steel's arsenal, players can develop a board state that can allow this combo to quickly snowball out of control and possibly end games in just one turn. What were they thinking when they made this card? Who knows? Amethyst has already shown how powerful it is, especially when paired with Ruby, absolutely dominating the current meta. But can the same be done with Steel as its partner? Can this help shake things up? I don't think so. Not today, buddy. Today I used the deck that was thought to make items relevant in Rise of the Floodborn and make it possible to finally use the big guy so shiny Tamatoa. That being, you know it, red hot popsicles. This deck was also hyped at the beginning of set 2 and caused cards like Hiram Flabbersham, Lady Tremaine, and even the uncommon card Nick Wild to shoot through the roof overnight. And we can't forget about Teeth and Ambitions either. This quickly changed once the set had been out for a few weeks and Ruby Amethyst once again was on the top of the charts. The Luminaries get ready for the hype deck from the beginning of set 2 to face off against the hype deck from the beginning of set 3. Who knows who will come out on top? Watch to find out. So, while on my way to the farewell tournament at Game Chamber, I decided to open up the Pixelborn client and see how the meta is doing and see if anybody is going to be playing the new hype cards, including Jafar, and to my surprise, I went right into a Steel Amethyst. So I turned on my camera while riding the bus, decided to get a quick game in. I decided to mulligan the 3 Mother Gothels and the Hades, hope to draw into a Fishbone Quill, which I do. I also draw into a Dinner Bell, Queen of Hearts, and a second Popsicle, which makes me happy. Also going second, which I love to do, to draw that card. The opponent inks the Yzma, so I already know that they're doing the draw with Jafar. They drop a Robin Hood and pass a turn, and I get that first Dragonfire, which makes me happy. Definitely love it over the Let It Go. Do not want to ramp my opponent. I play the Queen of Hearts in the Inkwell and drop my first Popsicle of the game. Draw into a Hiram, which is awesome. So I have the Hiram and the Nick combo already with the Fishbone. They quest with the Robin Hood and pass the turn. I draw into a Hades even though I just mulliganed. So it makes me happy to see some more removal in my hand and have more options to deal with the opponent's board. I opt to ink the Noi instead of the Nick Wild. After I realize, hey, I got Hiram, he's going to eat that Popsicle, I can get another Popsicle back with Nick. And then off my Popsicle, I draw a Maleficent Dragon, which is great removal. A little more late game, but still good. The opponent drops the Maleficent, and at this point I'm like, yeah, guaranteed they're playing that new Jafar card, and I need to work fast and get a B prepared. I draw into the Mother Gothel, so I ink the Maleficent as it's too far away. Drop down the Fishbone Quill. Then I use the Quill on the Hades. Like I said, I do not want to ramp the opponent, so I opt to keep the Lady Tremaine instead and the Dragonfire. The opponent inks Smash, because I know I'm not playing anything yet, and they play the Goat to gain the lore. And then they quest away with both their Maleficent and their Robin Hood, taking them up to 5 lore. So I draw into a Poison Apple, and I use the Quill on the Poison Apple, because I don't think they're going to be dropping Cindy anytime soon. Then I drop the Hiram, eat the popsicle to draw 2 cards. Drawing a Fan the Flames and Tamatoa. I decided to keep the Tamatoa here and ink the Fan the Flames instead, I believe. So I can drop the Tamatoa possibly later on. It's a big threat. And then I pass. Take a quick look to see where I'm at on the stop. Opponent inks a blue fairy. Drops down the beast. And at this point, I'm like, okay, next turn, I need to drop the Be Prepared. I need to draw into it. And at this point, I get it, and I'm like, yes, I am a top deck god. So I debate on inking the Tamatoa. I use the Quill instead on the Dinner Bell. And then I quest with Hiram, eat the fish or popsicle to draw 2 more additional cards. So now I have the Be Prepared and another Be Prepared and let it go. So at this point, I am stoked. Even though the opponent has 9-1 in the lore count, I can see that I have a mitt full of cards to deal with anything they drop. So first of all, I go off with the Dragonfire, use my cheapest removal so I can get something on the field. So I use the Quill on the Tamatoa because it's too far and I don't have that many items, and I ink the Noi. And then I put out the Nick Wild to grab a popsicle. Then it goes back to the opponent. So they drop another Robin Hood. And ink the Moon Snake and pass a turn. I draw into a Fan the Flames. Decide to quest with my Nick for 2, taking me to 3. I use Fan the Flames into the Inkwell. I then drop a popsicle to draw another card, drawing into the Evasive Mini Skylar Surfer. I then drop Lady Tremaine, outing the Robin Hood as it's the only character on their field, so they have to choose the Robin Hood. And then here I play with the Mini and decide to pass a turn. The opponent decides to play Friends from the other side, trying to draw into their Jafar or something that they can use, I would assume. They ink the Prince, which is probably harsh for them. Here I say, okay, I'm just going to quest and I'm just going to drop Fishbone Quill. And then pass my turn, as the opponent has nothing to deal with. I have Let It Go and Be Prepared as a backup in my hand. They drop down the Emo Beast and the Jafar to do a double drop, thinking like, okay, he can only deal with one of these, but does not realize that I have a second Be Prepared in my hand after the one from earlier. So I proceed to quest. And then I drop down the Be Prepared. Now I'm walking in the snow to my tournament. And I love where my hand's at. I see it. There's the Jafar. I'm like, well, I gotta use the Let It Go on it. That's the first one. I gotta get rid of it. And then drop down the Hiram. Eat the popsicle to draw 2 cards. And I know at this point, once I drew into the other Be Prepared, I was like, yes, it's over. I'm so happy. Literally feeling like a top deck god. So they throw a smash into the Inkwell, taking them to 9 ink. They decide to use a Grab Your Swords on my Hiram, which absolutely does nothing. I quest for 1 with my Hiram, eating a Fishbone Quill, drawing an additional 2 more cards. I drop the Popsicle to draw another card. I then drop the Hiram to eat another Popsicle and draw 2 more cards. I decided to ink the Mother Gothel, as I have 2 of them if I go into another dinner bell, which will probably not even be needed. I inked the Fishbone Quill, or use Fishbone Quill to put something in my inkwell. I then dropped the new Audrey, which when she quests, she readies an item. And drop shield and pass the turn. And now I know that I have the game. Once I drop the Jafar, I go ahead and quest with the Hiram to eat the Fishbone Quill to draw 2 cards. I then play the Dragonfire on the Jafar, clearing the Jafar off the field once again. So that's 3 of them now, I believe, 2 or 3. I then eat and destroy the shield, not eat it, with the Hiram to draw 2 more cards. And at this point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm being a total troll. And this is what you get for overhyping a deck at the beginning of a set. Don't fall for the videos that say this deck is going to be good, because as you can see, a deck that is hardly played in the meta can out Jafar just as good as Ruby Amethyst or discard, and that was the win. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one.